गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Here we will enter now the 14th chapter, Chaturdashodhyayaha. Sarvam utpadyamanam kshetra kshetrajna sanyogat utpadyate iti uktam. Tat katham iti tat pradarsanartham param bhuya ityadi adhyaya arabhyate. It was said towards the end of the 13th chapter that whatever we see in this world, that is the result of these two things coming together, kshetra and the kshetrajna. Now the question is, how the kshetra and the kshetrajna come together? See what happens. Anything that we will say about anything, there will be always two standpoints. One is how that is right, and second is how that is possible. It is not right. Now we have seen that kshetrajna is one, and is devatma shaktim swagune nigudham yaha karanani nikhilani tani adhisthati ekadevaha. And that one reality, Parabrahma Paramatma, being one without a second, his Shakti, Devatma Shakti, can it be called other than the Paramatma? If we call that Shakti as other than Paramatma, then there will be Sankhya Prakriti, there will be duality. And if we say it is one with the Paramatma, then this statement, kshetra kshetrajna sanyogat, if they are already one, so where is the question of sanyoga, bringing them together? Therefore, sarvam utpadyamanam kshetra kshetra sanyogat utpadyate iti uktam tat katham. Exactly what do we mean by this? If the kshetra kshetrajna are two, if they are independent of each other, if they are not together, then you can bring them together. This statement is something like how the fire and the heat are brought together. We'll think about it. Are you talking about fire and heat as separate or what? That you can bring them together. Therefore, katham, how this is, what exactly is meant, tat pradarshanartham, for that purpose, param bhuya pravakshami jnananam jnanamuttamam, this 14th chapter begins. Now here another very important topic is brought. Athava means what? Why this 14th chapter is being discussed? Actually in the 13th chapter only, when Bhagavan said in the last verse, kshetra kshetrajnayorevam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye vidur yanti te param. So actually Bhagavad Gita should have been over. And yet it continues. So what could be the reason? Now the second reason is Ishvara paratantra yoho kshetra kshetrajnayoho jagat karanatvam tu na sankhyanam iva swatantra yoho iti evam artham. In case of the Sankhya philosophy, what is said, Purushas are many and Prakriti is one, and both the Purusha and the Prakriti, they are swatantra, they are independent. They are not controlled by anybody. Therefore, Sankhya Prakriti is swatantra and Vedanta Prakriti is Brahmashraya. It is not swatantra. Therefore, Ishvara paratantra yoho kshetra kshetrajna yoho. So that Prakriti, which are the Prakriti according to the Vedanta? Kshetra, Kshetrajna Prakriti. Jagat Karanatvam, Natu Sankhyanam Iva Swatantrayoho. So, the cause of this world is not the Purusha and Prakriti of the Sankhyas, but the cause of this world is the Purusha and Prakriti of the Vedantis. This is the meaning. So to show this, the 14th chapter begins. Now, Prakrutisthatvam Guneshu cha Sangaha Samsara Karanam Uktam. Now, first is the world, and in the world there is samsara. See how Bhagavan Shankaracharya goes one by one step. If you become aware about every word that he uses. Prakriti sthatvam guneshu cha sangaha samsara karanam iti uktam. Karya karana kartrutve hetu prakriti ruchyate. Purushaha prakriti sthohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan. So, karanam gunasangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. Now, when the Purusha is seated in the Prakriti, and as a result of this, he gets attached, influenced by the three gunas of the Prakriti. So, there are two reasons. One is sitting in the Prakriti. Second thing is getting influenced by the gunas of the Prakriti. Like what? Sitting in the satsang and not getting influenced by what is said in the satsang. See, two things. So when somebody goes and sits in the satsang, but he doesn't get influenced by the satsang, then he is kshetrajna, uninfluenced by anything else. And if he gets influenced, then he is a jiva. So Prakriti Statvam and Guneshu Sangaha Samsara Karananuktam. Therefore, Kasmin Gune Katham Sangaha? Which of the three gunas create what kind of attachment? Kasmin Gune Katham Sangaha. Keva Gunaha. And how many are the gunas? And Katham Vate Badhanti. And how these three gunas bind? And iti gunebhyaha cha mokshanam katham syat. And also how one can liberate oneself from the bondage of the three gunas. And muktasya cha lakshanam vaktavyam. And he who is liberated from the impact of the three gunas, bhuta prakriti moksham cha. What are the linga? What are the signs of this person who is freed from the impact of the three gunas? Iti vaktavyam. That also has to be told. My God. Therefore, we are starting the 14th chapter. Even if you don't tell this thing, we will study, please tell us. This is called as introduction to whatever we do has to be proved why it is done. Otherwise, why we are doing it, I don't know. No. This is the purpose of the commentary. So every word, purpose is clearly brought out. Now if you remember, I think 7th chapter, there Bhagwan begins the talk in the 7th chapter in the similar way, or in the 10th chapter somewhere. Bhuya eva pravakshami. I shall tell you again. Why again? Because when I was telling you, you were sleeping. Idam tude guhyatavam pravakshami anusuyave. I shall tell you this. and in the 9th chapter, and again in the 10th chapter, in the 10th chapter, Bhagavan says, Bhuya eva mahabaho shrunu me paramam vachaha. That means he told in the 7th chapter, in the 8th chapter, in the 9th chapter about Paramatma, how he is transcendental and immanent in this world. And again in the 10th chapter he starts without Arjuna asking a question. Here also in the 14th chapter. Why Bhagavan started telling himself? Because he found Arjuna is listening. So tell before he goes to sleep. And therefore, Bhuja eva pravakshami. So we begin the 14th chapter with Bhagavan's words. See, if you see the total scheme of Bhagavad Gita thought development, you will come to know these three things very clearly. The first 6 chapter focus attention on the Jiva Bhava, where the doership is uncompromisingly predominant. To come out of that doership, the Jiva Bhava, the principle of devotion is brought out in the next 6 chapters, so that the doer is surrendering himself at the feet of the Lord. But that surrender is only bhavana pradhan. That surrender is only in terms of trying to be goody-goody before the Lord, oh Lord, all the time. And this will not last long. Then how the devotion is made permanent? Then the third step. What is the third step? Kshetrajnam chapi mam viddhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. This is jivatmaikya bodha. This is brahmatmaikya bodha. So who is studying? Kshetrajna, the one who is embodied dehi, he is studying. And what he is studying? That he is essentially Parabrahma Paramatma. He is not the Jivatma. This is how in this 6 plus 6, 3 quarters of 3 aspects of Bhagavad Gita. First 6 chapter talk about Tvam Pada, second 6 chapters talk about Tat Pada, and the third 6 chapters talk about Asi Pada. So Tattvam Asi is thus established. Or they also say that it is the explanation of Aham Brahmasmi. So who is the Aham? So the Aham is Arjuna's Aham in the first 6 chapter. To that Arjuna's Aham instruction is Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. For what purpose? Yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. That is the Aham. Then that Aham, after having worked on, then the second thing is Brahma. Now which Brahma? The second 6 chapters. What is that Brahman in the second 6 chapter? Mattaha paradaram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. And rasohamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashisuryoho etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yovetti tattvataha. So, transcendental and the immanent aspect of the reality called as Brahman is spoken of in the second 6 chapter. Aham Brahma, and now the last 6 chapter. So, Aham Brahma Asmi. Now, all what was said in the first 12 chapters of Bhagavad Gita should not be taken objective understanding. This has to be a subjective experience. Therefore, Aham Brahmasmi is explained in the 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita in the same sequence. This is how some Mahatmas tell What is said in Bhagavad Gita is this. So, we now enter the 14th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Param Bhuya Pravakshami Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Yajñātvā munayas sarve Param siddhimito gataha. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Shri Bhagavan Bole. See, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, these are the eternal words of the divine expression. They are not conditioned by time, space and object. That is why Bhagavad Gita is called as the Shastra. Because the speaker of Bhagavad Gita is not a mortal, but he is Bhagavan himself. Therefore, Sri Bhagavan Vacha gives Bhagavad Gita the status of scriptures, Shastra. So, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, what did he say? Param bhuyaha pravakshami jnananam jnanam uttamam. Param jnanam iti vyavahitena sambandhaha. Now, if you see this whole verse, how it is, Param Jnanam Uttamam. So that Param is an adjective for the Jnanam. Therefore, Param Jnanam iti vyavahitena sambandhaha. You have to bring these two words together, although they are far away from each other. Bhuyaha punaha. Param bhuya pravakshami. Bhuyaha means again. Purveshu sarveshu adhyayeshu asakrut uktam api. In earlier chapters it was told again and again. Even then I am going to tell you. Pravakshami. And that also not vakshami, pravakshami. I am not losing my patience. I am not losing my intensity. And I am not losing my interest. So, pravakshami, this is one of the most important thing. When the speaker is inspired, then only the listeners are able to hold on to. If the speaker is frustrated and he has no interest and somehow he is pulling on, then the students sit in the class and draw the cartoons and the caricatures. Param bhuya pravakshami. Pravakshami prakarshena vakshami. I shall tell you with all intensity that you are left with no choice but to understand. Where will you go? Param bhuya pravakshami. Now what are you going to tell us? Tacha param paravastu vishayatvat. Now this jnanam is called as param. Why? Param jnanam, because paravastu vishayatvat, because this is the knowledge regarding the absolute reality. Therefore, I am going to tell you the absolute knowledge. Param means the supreme most. So, knowledge regarding the maths is called as mathematical knowledge. Similarly, knowledge regarding the supremely important reality is called as param jnanam. So, param vastu vishayatvat param jnanam. Kincha tad jnanam sarvesham jnananam uttamam uttama phalatvat. So, this jnanam is regarding the absolute reality and it is also uttamam jnanam. Uttamam jnanam. Why? Because uttama phalatvat. So, there are different types of knowledges where you get different type of results. Yes. What is that? Bhagavan Shankara writes, Jnananam iti amanitvadinam kim tarhi. Where it is said, Param jnanam pravakshami. So are you talking about that jnana which we have recently heard in the 13th chapter? Amanitvam, adamitvam, ahimsa, kshanti rajavam. Is that the jnanam you are talking? Kim tarhi yajñadni jneya vastu vishayanam iti? Or are you talking about the knowledge regarding that knowledge about the yajna, etc.? So there are two options taken here. One option is that jnanam, the jnana sadhana you are talking about, or knowledge is of two kinds. One knowledge demands action as a follow-up. That knowledge belongs to the relative world. For example, if we are told that if you eat this, your health will be good. This is the knowledge we have got. Take vitamins, you will be all right. But nothing is happening. Have you taken vitamins? No, I have not taken. So that knowledge is no use. So that knowledge demands action. Or you do this yajna and you will go to heaven. You hear that and then, but I have not gone to heaven. Have you done that yajna? No. So you will not go. So that knowledge which forms a limb of karma is not the uttamam knowledge. That is not the best knowledge. Second thing, knowledge regarding the vidya or the upasana. What is the upasana? If you do the Gayatri Purascharan, then your mind will become extremely subtle and pure, and then your understanding about the scriptures will be very, very good. Upasana. So this knowledge will demand that you have to do the Gayatri Purascharan. See? So are you going to talk about this jnanam which is forming the limb of karma or an aspect of the upasana, or you are talking about the jnana sadhana referred in the 13th chapter? Reply to these questions is no, no, no. Then who is jnanam? Jnanam uttamam. Now see how this word uttamam is what? Similarly we have seen Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Sarvata idam uttamam. So ut jnanam is regarding the karma kanda dharma, which will keep us in the relative world and which will strengthen our ego or the doership. This is the uta jnanam. Then uttara jnanam is superior than this. What is the uttara jnanam? You are not talking about the karma and the karma phala, but you are now talking about the upasana. So your importance and value to the doership is reduced and the devotion has increased. So this is the superior knowledge. Therefore, uttara knowledge. But here also the duality is still intact. Now the third is the uttama knowledge. Now what is the uttama knowledge? It is the superlative degree. Uttara and uttama. So what is the uttama knowledge? The knowledge about Brahmatmaikya Bodha, your essential nature, where there is no trace of duality. Therefore, you don't have to worry about karma. Therefore, you don't have to go to the abode of your Ishta Devata. Atraiva Brahma Samashnute na tasya prana utkramanti. Here and now is the result of your own liberation, Jivan Mukti. And therefore, this knowledge which I am going to tell you is uttama knowledge. Because all other knowledges will not help you on the battlefield. Suppose Bhagavan tells him, Arjun, you do this yajna and then the problem will be solved. Now, whether I should do yajna first or I should fight the war. Don't forget, Bhagavad Gita is narrated on the battlefield. Similarly, if Arjuna was told about upasana, do the Gayatri Purascharan. So in front of You know, the enemies are standing, wait a minute, Om Bhurbhusva Tassadurvanya. So what is required? We require that knowledge which is available now and here. And that knowledge could be only about the identity of our own. Because of the identity crisis we all suffer in life. Therefore, jnananam jnana uttamam. This is the most superior knowledge. And yajñatva munayaha sarve, yajñatva, yajñanam jnatva prapya. Having known this reality, munayaha sannyasinaha mananashilaha. Who are the munis? Munis are those who are contemplative. Those who have no interest in the relative world. Therefore, neither they are interested in the karma nor in the upasana. So, munayaha mananashilaha te sarve param siddhim mokshakhyam itaha asma dehabandhanat urdhvam gataha praptaha. So, all these contemplative Mahatmas, having discarded the present body, have attained param siddhim mokshakhyam. They have attained the moksha, the liberation from the relative existence. Therefore, what knowledge I am going to tell you is not ordinary knowledge, but it is both uttamam jnanam and param jnanam. Param jnanam because regarding the Parabrahma, and uttamam jnanam because there is nothing more superior than this, because you are liberated from the clutches of the relativity. And all the great rishis have followed that. So, it is a tested path. You are not the guinea pig. You also can attain if you follow this. Asyaha cha siddhehe aikantikatvam darsheti. Now, what is the greatness of this siddhi? Aikantika means uniqueness. Asyaha siddhehe aikantikatvam darsheti. What is the uniqueness of this knowledge? All other knowledges and siddhis, they come and go. But this is not going to come and go. We have seen in our Patanjali Yoga Darshan, there are 4 kinds of yogi. One is the one who has not yet attained siddhis, so he is still at the stage of abhyasa. Second are the one who have got Rutambhara Prajna, and they are tempted by the gods and they are likely to fall. The third one are those who are okay and yet with a fear that they may not fall, they keep on doing the yoga abhyas, etc. So here this knowledge is such that there is no fear of fall, and it has to be known only once. There is no second time required to know about it. Therefore, asyaha siddhihi cha aikantikatvam darsheti. Uniqueness of this siddhi is told. What is that? Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmya magataha sarge pinopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. Now this is the uniqueness of this siddhi, attainment of liberation while alive. What is that uniqueness? Idam jnanam upashritya, idam jnanam yathoktam. The knowledge which we have told in the last so many chapters, upashritya, when you take refuge in this knowledge, when you are able to follow this knowledge in your life. So, idam jnanam upashritya jnana sadhanam anusthaya iti etat. When you practice this knowledge, then mama parmeshwarasya sadharmyam mama swarupatam agataha prapta ityartha. So, they have attained oneness with me. See, this is what I was telling you. Brahmatmaikya bodha. So, the Atma, the individual, is of the nature of the Brahman. This is the meaning of mama sadharmyam agataha. Therefore, unless The Kshetrajna, the Purusha of the Sankhya or the Yoga come to discover Atmanam Chet Vijaniyat Ayamasmiti Purushaha. Unless he comes to know his correct identity, he will continue to suffer from one life to another life. And whole life is spent only in cleaning the utensils. Therefore, Mama Parameshwarasya Sadharmyam Mama Swarupatam. Here the difference, not dharma but swarupa. That is the important. Prapta ityartha natu samana dharman. See, he also says, natu samana dharmatam sadharmyam kshetra kshetrajneyo kshetrajne ishvarayoho bheda bheda anabhyupagamat Gita Shastre. Because in the Gita Shastra, we don't accept the separateness of the Jiva and the Ishvara, Kshetrajna and the Ishvara. If they are already one, so there is no question of their sadharmya. Their dharma will be one. Therefore, it is said, not samana dharmatam, but what is said is mama swarupatam, that the Jiva will come to recognize his own essential nature as Brahma Swarupa. Now, phalavadaha cha ayam stutyartham uchyate. Now, why this is said phalavadaha? Only because then only the ignorant people are prompted to do something. Otherwise, what will I get? This problem comes. Now, what is the greatness of this knowledge? Sarge api srishti kale api na upajayante. Now see, according to Yoga Shastra, you know how the births take place. The jivas, after they leave the body, they don't have the body. So they are deha rahita sthiti, only subtle body. And then they go to the space, in the akash, and in the upper antariksha, in the Hiranyagarbha. And they stay there. And when the right time comes, they are again pushed out. Then they fall down along with the raindrops. Because raindrops have got a kind of a body. So they enter in that and fall on the earth. After having fallen on the earth, they are absorbed in the vegetation, etc. After that has happened, then they grow along with that vegetation. Then that vegetation is eaten by somebody. And then they enter the body of those people. And then those jivas, they enter the seeds. And after having entered the seed, when that seed goes and unites with the seed of the opposite sex, then the jiva gets an opportunity to be born. This is how the cycle of the birth and death of the jiva is explained. Therefore, it is not like that. Na srishti kale upajayante. They are not born because this is a simple example. When is the light in the bulb born? This is the eternal principle. It is not that after Mr. Edison has done this thing. It was still there earlier, only it was not known. Therefore, srishti kale na upajayante na utpadyante, and pralaya brahmanaha api vinasha kale na vyathanti cha. And even when Brahmaji disappears, nothing happens to this Jivan Mukta Yogi because he has discovered his essential nature. Therefore, Srishti Kale api na upajayante pralaye brahmana api vinasha kale na vyathanti cha vyatham na apadyante na chavanti ityartaha. So they do not suffer. In short, the problems of repeated births and deaths. You know, in the Bhagavad Mahapuran and in the literature of devotion, this thought is shown in a poetic manner. How Bhagavan Krishna was enjoying his friends and the food. And when he was doing that, he was not following the Vidhi Nishedh, the rules and regulation, how we should take food, sit properly, and then offer it to the Lord, and then do the Naivedya, Vishwadeva, and then take the food. But Bhagavan Krishna didn't bother for all that. He straight away started. And also, according to Dharma Shastra, you should not eat from his hand, that hand and all kinds of. He didn't care. Brahmaji got angry. This fellow is living in my creation and he is not following the Vidhi-Nishedh, so he is to be punished. So what he does, he hides all the other children and their animals and everything, just to teach lesson to Bhagavan Krishna. Then what Bhagavan Krishna does? He himself becomes everything. And this continues for 1 full year. Nobody knows about it, including Balramji. Nobody knows. Then all those animals, those people, their habits, their clothes, their smells, everything, Bhagwan alone becomes. Then Brahmaji feels, hey, what is happening? Nothing is happening. I thought he will be troubled. And then he comes and tells, oh Lord, I did not know who you are, I am so sorry. And in the same literature you come across some more stories. Once this Brahmaji goes to Golok. Golok is only the ladies' kingdom where Bhagavan Krishna resides, and Radharani is the in charge. So Brahmaji goes and the watchwoman there, hey, who are you? Who are you? Brahmaji. Who is this? Indra. So Indra, Brahmaji introduce each other. He said, okay, wait. Wait? Do you know I am Brahmaji? You ask me to wait? He said, what you have started, Brahma? Are you seeing that caravan of the camels going? Yes. On that something is loaded? Yes. They are all Brahmas. You know, the best example I can think of is when people go to New Delhi in the government offices. There somebody is a director, somebody is a minister. So they say, I am director. He said, "Theek hai, baitho wahan, please sit there." Do you know who am I? I am the director. He said, here everybody, only director only comes, because nobody below that is allowed to come here. So keep quiet, director. See, Brahmaji is also in the relative world. Therefore, Brahmanaha api vinashakale na vyathanti. Because he has already gone beyond the relativity. And that is why when anybody is going beyond relativity, all the gods will come. Ima Rama Saratha Saturya. Come and take these all temptations and enjoy, so that you don't go beyond our clutches. You have to remain in the relativity, like the doctor maintaining the patients. That is how you know the psychiatrists flourish. Psychiatrists make the patient talk. The other day, one couple phoned me. I said, hey, in your country you have got this special facility available, counseling and all that, family counseling and all. There are many names, different techniques of earning money legally. Legal deception. He said, Swamiji, we have gone for 3 sittings and we have spent more than $200 per sitting, and other than our talking, and the conclusion is, I think you require few more sittings. So we have already spent $600. Nothing has come out. We are the same miserable. Why they are doing like this? Because if you stop going to them, then they will have to go to someone else. In the relativity, this is the problem. Therefore, sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyathanti cha. This is the greatness of this knowledge. See, in all other knowledges, If you do pap, you will go to hell. If you do punya, you will go to heaven. If you do yoga, you will go to the Surya, Sayamat, Bhuvana Jnanam. And you will go, you keep on running. How long? Therefore, you transcend the relativity, go beyond birth and death. This is the greatness of this knowledge. And the most important is, na vyathanti cha. You will never suffer in this life or any time. Because this knowledge takes you to the absolute. Now, kshetra kshetrajna sanyoga idrusho bhuta karanam itiyaha. Now, how the kshetra kshetrajna come together and they become the cause of this world. This is said in the third verse. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Here this word Brahma is used for the Prakriti. This is the uniqueness of this chapter. Mama swabhuta madiya maya trigunatmika prakriti hi yoni hi sarvabhutanam sarvakarebhyo mahatvad bharanaccha swavikaranam mahad brahma iti yoni eva vishishyate. So my mama swabhuta maya, my own maya, which is trigunatmika prakriti, which with the three gunas is prakriti, and yonihi is the cause. Sarva bhutanam is the cause of all the beings, things, etc. Because sarva karebhyo mahatvad bharanaccha, because she is the cause of the whole creation, right from the Pancha Mahabhutas and their effects up to the Mahat Tattva, Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, Mahatvad, she is bigger than the biggest, and Bharanat, because the effects are always supported by the cause. Because of these two, this Mama Yoni Prakriti is referred in this chapter as Mahat Brahma. So here, Mahat Brahma is not referring to Parabrahma, Paramatma. Please understand this. Mama Yoni Mahat Brahma Tasmin Garbham Dadhamyaham. That is why, whenever we use the words without reference to context and start arguing, but there it is said like that, there it is said like that, there is no point in, because they are not able to understand the context in what it is said. Like Arjun quoted so many beautiful scriptural authorities in favor of his withdrawal from the battlefield. Bhagavan did not agree. What Arjun said was right, but it was in the wrong context. When the context is wrong, whatever right you say is meaningless. Therefore, here also this Mahat Brahma should be taken only as the Prakriti and not the Brahma as referred normally. And here Bhagavan has given the reason also why Mahatvad Bharanacha Svavikaranam, supporter of its own modification as well as being the cause of everything. This Prakriti is called as Mahat Brahma. Then Tasmad Mahati Brahmani Yonau Garbham Hiranya Garbhasya Janmanaha Bijam Sarvabhuta Janma Karanam Bijan Dadami Nikshipami Kshetra Kshetrajna Prakriti Dvaya Shaktiman Ishvara Aham. So Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. I sow the seed in this Prakriti. Tasmin Mahati Brahmani, in that Mahat Brahma Yoni, Garbha. Garbha is what? Hiranya Garbha. Hiranya Garbhasya Janmanaha Bijam. Now here, very subtle point, please understand. Unless we have the unmanifest subtle impressions in the Mahat Tattva, there is no reason why there should be next creation. It is something like this. Every night we go to sleep. Now what is that which wakes us up in the morning? The impressions, the samskar on our mind. Now, in the same manner, what is our vyashti sleep? Is the samashti understanding, no difference. So, the vyashti sleep, individual sleep is the Ishvara sthiti, no differences of any kind. And then these Ishvaras, all these inherent tendencies, impressions, jiva bhava, duality seed, they start getting ready to fructify. That is the Hiranyagarbha sthiti. So, when Bhagavan says, Tasmin garbham dadamyam, means what? Now understand this thing through another example. When we take the seed, let us take the gram seed, or any pulse, and put it in the water. So what will happen? Slowly it will start absorbing the water and be swollen. And when it is swollen, then out of that swollen seed alone the plant will start growing. If the seed is roasted, and the inherent impression in the seed are destroyed, and the roasted seed you apply the same treatment, exposure to moisture, water, it will not germinate. In the same manner, this Prakriti of Ishvara, it has got this inherent potentiality, and because of this inherent potentiality, this potentiality becomes awakened by Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Sujate Saracharacharam. So this inherent potentiality becomes manifest, and that becoming manifestation is called as Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. So coming out of the unmanifestation and ready to be manifest is called as the sowing the seed, Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. So, Garbhasya, Hiranya Garbhasya Janmanaha Bijam, Sarvabhuta Janma Karanam. And that is the Sarvabhuta Janma Karanam. Now take another example to understand this. Electrical energy has the potentiality to express through the bulb as light. This is the condition of the Ishvara Sthiti. When this conditioning, this ability of electricity was discovered by a scientist, after the discovery, now this has come to the second stage called as Hiranyagarbha. After this Hiranyagarbha Sthiti's condition is created, then all the individual bulbs are created. So all the individual bulbs in the world have this basic principle, that electrical energy under certain conditions expresses as light through bulb. So there are now three stages, see. First, electrical energy. Second, electrical energy can express as light through bulb, second stage. Third, implementation of this knowledge for the practical usage. This is the third stage. In the same manner, unmanifest is Ishvara, Brahma Paramatma with his unmanifest potentiality. Then that potentiality is discovered, and the process of discovering is the Hiranyagarbha. Therefore, Hiranyagarbha is what? Hiranya is shining, bright. Garbha, but it is hidden also. So it is the potentiality which is ready to manifest but not yet manifest. And it is also not unmanifest. That is the state is mentioned here. Tasmin Garbham Dadamyaham. Now, this potentiality is present in the seed then only the seed will be able to swell and produce the plant. But the same thing doesn't happen if it is a plastic piece. Because in the plastic piece, this potentiality is not there, although you may provide the same environment. Therefore, unless the inherent potentiality is there, there cannot be any creation. So, tasmin garbham dadamyaham. So, kshetra, kshetrajna, prakriti, dvaya, shaktiman, ishvaraha, aham. So, from the Ishvara, the second stage has come, Hiranyagarbha. And who is the Ishvara? I have got these two Shaktis. Which Shakti? One is Kshetra and second is manifestation of the Kshetrajna in the Kshetra as if he has become limited. Not actually. So, the Parashakti and the Prakriti and the Apara Prakriti. So, Kshetra is the Apara Prakriti and Kshetrajna is the Para Prakriti. So, Prakriti Dvaya Shaktiman Aham Ishvaraha Avidya Kama Karma Upadhi Swarupa Anuvidhayinam Kshetrajnam Kshetrena Sayojayami Ityarthaha. Then, according to the Avidya Kama Karma, ignorance, desire, karma, karma phala, etc., that Kshetrajna, I associate him with that. And as a result of which, Sambhavaha Utpatti Sarva Bhutanam Hiranyagarbha Utpatti Dvarena. So Hiranyagarbha is the first stage. After that, the subsequent creation begins. So Hiranyagarbha Utpatti Dvarena Sarva Bhutanam Sambhavaha Utpatti. And Tataha Tasmat Garbhadhanat Bhavati He Bharata. This is how the whole creation begins. So, there are two things now. Now, to understand this, take the subjective experience, an example. The other day, one mother asked me this question. Swamiji, I do not know what happened. My son is not behaving properly. He is avoiding, he doesn't talk, he keeps himself away. What happened? So, what is his age? He is studying in class 8. So, he was not like that. I don't know what happened to him. I said, okay, I'll talk to him whenever I meet. And I saw, boy is perfectly alright, nothing wrong with him. Then I told his mother, I said, look here, you just wait for 2-3 years. He is going through the physiological changes in his body. Some people are able to respond to the physiological changes in the body in a balanced manner. Sometimes people with too much of excitement, some people through depression. And this is available for everybody throughout life. See? The other day, one lady phoned me about her husband. Swamiji, this is the age the men undergo hormonal changes. Therefore, he probably behaving like this. But he doesn't understand me. I said, you are also undergoing some hormonal changes. But then he should understand that. I said, both of you are hormonally disbalanced people. So where from this, does it come from outside? No, it is from inside. In the same manner, nothing is coming from outside. Paramatma, he is Prakriti, modification in the Prakriti, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Therefore, in this world, when the water expresses as the ocean, ocean is not created. When the ocean expresses as the wave, wave is not created. Then what it is? It is a creation without creation. This is the ultimate. So, out of me and my Prakriti, this is how the whole world is created. Bhagavan said, Tasmat Garbhadhanad Sarva Bhutanam Utpatti Bhavati. Now, after this, the thought continues, सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिः अहं बीजप्रदपिता. Now these are the two eternal principles in this world. See, in the Chinese, they have got those two things in a ball, dark and white. Same thing, Purusha Prakriti. This is the basis of all the spiritual thought. When you go in the Shaivites, there it is Shiva Shakti. When you go to the devotees of the Krishna, it is Radha Krishna. See, there is no temple of Krishna with his wife. It's always with the Radha. Because wives can come and go. Radha was never married to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. She cannot get married because she is always with him. So, Radha Krishna is nothing but Shiva Shakti. Rama Sita is nothing but Shiva Shakti. And therefore, Sita was born out of earth, remained with Rama, and again she goes back to the earth. Radha was never married to Krishna, but Krishna had more love for Radha than anybody else in the whole world. Shiva Shakti. When this Gauri Himavana Kanya Umam Haivavatim, when she was doing her tapasya to get married to Lord Shiva, so many Saptarshis came and told, "Hey Uma, why are you wasting your time doing so much of tapasya?" Because her tapasya was very intense. One of her name was Aparna because she even stopped eating the leaves, only holding the prana, holding the hunger and thirst. She was remembering doing tapasya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So the Saptarshis came. With so much of tapasya, whom are you seeking? That Shivji, who doesn't have even a comb to comb your hair. He is saying jata. You can't go nearer to him because his ornaments are nothing but snakes. He doesn't have proper clothes. He is only putting only the animal skin. And see his ganas, all the terrible monsters in the world, they are his company. Instead of that, forget about it. Then opt for Vishnu. Because we are the agents marketing Vishnu in the market. And then the Vishnu is glorified. See, Pitambara, Shankar, Chakra, Gada, Padma, how beautiful and everything, What is this? Shiva, 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 Shiva. So she said, because you are great Rishis, Mahatmas, therefore I don't want to say anything. But as you have come, please go away. What my Guru told me, that alone I will do. Who was her Guru? Naradji. See, that is why Parvati, Gauri cannot be separated from the Shiva. Shiva Shakti, they are always one. And this principle of these two things, Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahadyoni Aham Bija Pradapita. So in this world, whatever forms you see, animal or human or anything, in that there are two aspects. One is the Prakriti and second is the Purusha. And it is here all the problems begin. How the problems begin? The problems begin. Purushaha prakrutistho hi bhunkti prakritijan gunan karanam gunasangosya sadasadyoni janmasu. If this Purusha lives in the Prakriti, but does not get influenced by the Prakriti, he is Parabrahma Paramatma. We will see this thought in our Shweta Shadra also. Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Vruksham Parishashvajati Tayoranyaha Pippalab Swadumatti Anashnan Anyaha Abhichakashiti. The Purush is existing in the Prakriti in two ways. One is as Kshetrajna and second is as if conditioned Kshetrajna, the Jiva. And the conditioned Kshetrajna is sufferer or enjoyer. Therefore, Upadrashtanumantacha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha Paramatme Pichapyuktaha Dehesmin Purushaparaha. So this Parabrahma Paramatma in the body is called as the Jiva when he is under the influence of the Prakriti. And thus, out of the two, the third is born. See? And the third born is the non-existing child, Vandhyaputra. And he is creating all the problem. And therefore all the philosophy, Bauddha, Jaina and Sankhya, Vaisheshika, they are all based only on this Jiva Bhava. This is how in this world whatever is, it has these two aspects. Now if you take another example, take a torch and the batteries inside. So a torch is made out of the power supply and the machine. Now because of these two things coming together, the light comes. So in these, what is the reality? Reality is the energy. If there is no energy, the torch is only a paperweight. It is useless. And that energy also becomes useless. Suppose you have got the cells, but no torch. Then if you want the manifestation, if you want to see the light, both of them have to come together. And this is what it is said. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtayaha sambhavantiya. So Deva, Pitru, Manushya, Pashu, Mrugadi, Sarva Yonishu, Kaunteya, Murtayo, Deha, Samsthana Lakshana, Murchitanga, Avayavaha, Murtayaha. So, in every form that you see in this world, whether it is Deva, Pitru, Manushya, Pashu, Mruga, see everything. So, Devas also are in the purview of the relativity. It is not that somebody is Gandharva or Deva Gandharva or the Karma Deva or Ajana Deva, Brahaspati, Yama. No, they are all in the field of relativity. Do you remember in our Kathopanishad, Yamaraj tells his disciple that although I knew that Nasti Adhruvaha Dhruvaihi and yet Nastihi Dhruvaha Adhruvaihi. And yet I was tempted and accepted this Yamya Pada, this position of the Yamaraj. But you are the one who has even discarded that. We pray to the Lord, let the disciples like you come to us. See? Therefore, all these Deva, Pitru, Manushya, Mruga, Pashu, Sarva Yonishu, Ya Murtaya, Deha Samsthana Lakshana, forms called as the body, with different avayavas, with different limbs, sambhavanti, tasa murti nam, mahat brahma, sarvavastham yonihi karanam. Of all those forms, this Prakriti is the cause, and aham isho bija prada, garbhadhanasya karta pita. And I am the father, because of whom all the potentialities are manifested in every form. This is how in every form there is a possibility of discovery of the self. Now when this is said, now the question comes. This Parabrahma Paramatma, responsible for creating the whole world, every form, and then after he has created the world, he himself gets caught up in that. Like what? The other day one husband, wife were complaining. I was listening. After some time, Swamiji, you are not talking to me. I said, I am thinking how to scold you. I am not getting the words. How to scold you. He said, Swamiji, you want to scold? I said, yes, why? Then I said, now I got the words. When you got married, that time did you ask me? No. You got married on your own? Yes. Did anybody tell you? No. Now why do you fight? Now you sort out. See? So what we do? We only get married and then we only suffer in the same manner. Paramatma created this world, God identified, and no suffering. So nobody can help you. Then what is to be done? You come out and discover that you are Paramatma yourself. See? Therefore, aham bija prado pita, garbhadhanasya karta pita. In this manner, in this world, if everything is created by these two, how this Paramatma comes into the clutches of his own creation, like we come under the clutches of our own children. Maybe because I don't have my children, I am always amazed to see how much the parents are extremely attached to the children. They are not attached to their parents, but to the children. And for that they are ready to do anything. Look at the best example, the Dhritarashtra and the Duryodhan. Anything he says, yes, yes. No saying no to that child. So how they get attached, bound, this is said in the 5th verse onwards. Ke gunaha katham badnanti iti uchyate. How these gunas tied down to whom, etc. is said. Sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadhanti mahabaho dehe dehi namavyayam. सत्वम रज तम इति एवं नामानः गुणा इति पारिभाषिक शब्दो न रूपादि वद द्रव्याश्रिताः. See, sattva, rajas, tamas, these are the technical terminology. And when we say guna, they should not be considered as attributes. Like when we say the red flower, so the red is the attribute. When we say the sweet coffee, so the sweet is the attribute. In the same manner, when we are saying guna, so these are not the qualities or attribute of any object. That is why paribhashika shabdo na rupadivat dravya ashrita. Like when we say somebody is beautiful, so the form of that person is beautiful, that person is there. So in this manner, it is not the substance and the attribute. This is not the meaning of the guna. So, sattva rajastamiti guna prakriti sambhavaha. Because nacha guna guninoho anyatvam atra vivakshitam. Because here, it is not mentioned that this is a very subtle thought. Please catch it. This is not mentioned here. Like we have, somebody has the money, so he is called as dhanavan. Then somebody has got the samarthyavan. Somebody has got lokhandavala. In this manner, this is not mentioned here that Paramatma is gunavan. No. See how beautiful it is. Atra guna guninoho anyatvam na vivakshitam. That is not mentioned over here. Tasman guna iva nitya paratantraha kshetrajnam prati avidyatmakatvad kshetrajnam nibadhanti iva tam aspadikritya atmanam pratilabhante iti nibadhanti iti uchyate. Now in this, iva is most important. Now what is the guna? Guna Another meaning of the word guna is the rope. Now guna iva, as if they are the ropes. And what are the ropes? Nitya paratantra kshetrajnam prati avidyatmakatvad kshetrajnam nibadnanti. Now this kshetrajna, nitya paratantra, although they are under the control of the kshetrajna, because he is the boss, even then, avidyatmakatvat, under the influence of the ignorance, as if the kshetrajna has come under the influence of his own prakriti. The word as if is most important. That means kshetrajna parabrahma paramatma never becomes jiva. This is the meaning. Therefore, this thought hold on to. We do not want liberation of I, but from I. Tasmat guna iva nitya paratantraha. So although they are totally dependent on the kshetrajna, because they have no independent existence. We are not talking about the prakriti of the Sankhya. We are talking prakriti of the Paramatma. Therefore, nitya paratantra api kshetrajnam prati avidyatmakatvad kshetrajna nibadnanti iva, as if they tie the kshetrajna. Tam aspadi krutya atmanam pratilabante iti nibadnanti. And then this kshetrajna becomes their support for manifestation. So, the gunas are taking the support for their existence from the kshetrajna, and then the gunas themselves are tying down their kshetrajna, as if. It is something like the woman becomes a wife because of the husband, and then the same wife starts overpowering the husband, and then the husband becomes a miserable creature. See. Therefore, here, as if he is tied down. This is what is called as nibadnanti. Now, techa prakriti sambhavaha bhagavan maya sambhavaha nibadnanti iva he mahabaho mahantau samartatarau ajana pralambau bahu yasya sa mahabahu he mahabaho. Who is a mahabaho? He whose hands go beyond the Janu is the knees, whose hand goes beyond the knees. So all chimpanzees will be called as the Mahabahu. In short, what is meant by Mahabahu is the one Arjuna's presence on the side of the Pandavas gave them the strength, and Arjuna's presence on the opposite side of the Kauravas made them weak, and therefore residing in the side of Pandavas, he was able to influence both the parties equally in the opposite direction. Therefore he was called as Mahabaho. So, hey Mahabaho, Mahantau Samarthatarau, he was so powerful, and therefore. Now, iha dehe sharire dehinam dehevantam avyam avyatvam chauktam anaditvat ityadi shloke. So, this eternal, unchanging, nirgunatvad, paramatma ayam avyaha. So, this was already said in the earlier verse. So that avyam dehinam, dehavantam, as if they tie down. Now a question is raised here. Nanu dehina lipyate iti uktam, tat katham iha nibadnanti iti anyatha kathyate uchyate. Once you say the dehi is never tied down by these various kinds of karma, etc., that he does, because you have already told that sharirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate, and again you say here that he is tied down by the three gunas. Katham, how? So there he says iha nibadnanti iti anyatha uchyate parihrutam asmabihi. Are Baba, we already denied that. How? Iva shabdena nibadnanti iva, as if he is tied down. Means what? Jiva bhava is a big bluff. Don't give any importance to that. That is why whenever you feel miserable, disturbed, low spirit, you talk to yourself. Hey, are you deceiving me or what? Kshetrajna cannot be miserable. Talk to yourself before the mirror. How can that reflection be miserable? Reflection cannot be miserable because he is inert. And I, Kshetrajna, I also cannot be miserable. Therefore, misery is an illusion. Ananda alone is the reality. Again and again insist that you cannot afford to accept even in a dream that you are miserable. Then only this knowledge will become firm. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.